Hi, I'm Tau, and you're listening to Echoes from the Desert, Mawungira Mgwenga podcast.
Welcome to another podcast. This is Maungira Mgwenga, and I have the usual suspects.
I refuse to be a suspect.
You're a suspect. On a side note, it happens sometimes the lips move faster than the tongue,
The brain.
Or slower.
Why are we suspects anyway?
Taudola.
because you need to be.
Listen.
Okay, fine. You know what?
You see. Okay. This is the violence
I'm not
that
going
we
to
are talking about
No,
today.
I'm not going to introduce you anymore.
This
Honestly.
is the violence that we are
Okay,
talking
fine.
about today.
Today we're talking about gender-based violence, and we are talking about gender-based violence to men, not to women, as
Commonly.
is commonly spoken about, but to men. So these two gentlemen, I will not use the words usual suspects, but these two sociopaths.
Taffy sense.
And anyone, Taffy says,
I'm not a sociopath.
He accepted the word, the name.
Taudola.
He accepted the name. So, starting with you, Taffy Sense, what do you think about gender-based violence when it comes to men?
The issue is not only gender
On a
violence.
side note,
Another side note.
on a side
Before
note,
I even say anything.
On a side note, have you ever heard how much this guy says the issue is? Anyway, continue.
is.
But the issue is
The issue is
the issue.
now
issue.
are men only violated gender-based? Or is it that men are not even appreciated at all? I mean, children are appreciated, women are appreciated, but are men appreciated for being men, or are men appreciated for bringing something onto the table?
Men
Go
ain't never
further.
going to be
So
appreciated.
what we are saying is the violence then that comes mentally, physically, emotionally from you bringing or not bringing to the table is what we are talking about. You see, when you as a child, as a girl child who likes playing with dolls,
Yeah.
if your dolls are taken away from you, that is violence. That is violence. Similarly for men are primarily breeding beings. If the breeding act is withheld in a legally constituted union, it's violence. If a man brings money or does not, and in that act is attacked mentally, physically, or emotionally for that lack thereof, it's violence.
Against the men.
This is what is happening in the majority of households, which is it's actually even more than what happens to women.
Okay, I get your point there. But now we need to get to our clan researcher, number one, top of the.
He's got the figures.
He's got the
He's
figures,
got the
he's
facts.
got the
He's
facts,
got the
he's got
research.
everything. He's got what all the researchers and everything say. Taudola, take us away. Take us away, brother.
All right, Munya, thank you for that.
You're welcome, brother.
Okay.
You
All
are
right,
welcome.
we want to talk about this issue, which is not really spoken about a lot in the circles or whatever in media.
On a side note, Tau is so efficient with the numbers and the figures, bro. Tau has an ACA degree. Do you know that?
Let him give us numbers.
Tau is so. No, I just want you to know that he is so efficient.
You are actually making me inefficient. He just wants to give us numbers.
Tau is
Let
so
him
efficient.
give us our
Tau
numbers.
did.
all right.
Tau is good with the numbers.
Yes.
Panoti my number. Panoti Tau. Tau, take us away.
I'm a number. Okay, this is from Alan Institute for Security Studies says sexual violence is a tactic of war used to humiliate and dominate, and so fear it is also increasingly being used as a tactic of terrorism. Do you believe that?
Yes.
I do.
While the focus has largely been on women and girls as victims of sexual violence, boys and men are equally at risk, and sexual violence against men and boys takes on a range of heinous acts, like Tafi has said, including anal and oral rape, genital torture,
Speak, brother, do not.
castration, coercion to rape, and others. Many of these acts are seen as emasculating, and while many victims are willing to give accounts of what they've witnessed, but because they are men, they are less likely to express themselves with what
It's
they've
embarrassing,
experienced.
Ka.
So basically, we go back to you being a man.
It's
Men-
embarrassing,
men
Ka.
are
Because
not-
what the violence comes, you see, on a woman,
Yeah.
right? When a woman is raped, it's outrageous. It's heinous, like Tao has said. It's unfathomable.
It's despicable.
It's despicable. It's bad. It's ugly. It's
and honestly speaking, it is. It's not.
that's
it's
what
not
it
good.
is. That's what it is.
It's really bad.
But what that rape has done is it has taken advantage of the woman as the fairer sex.
Right.
This is what has happened.
Okay.
Now, so we are not justifying it,
No.
but we are saying is what has happened.
I-
She's
I-
a woman.
On a side note, on a side
Again,
note,
on another thing.
Jesus Christ, the side notes are flooding in. You know.
Second flight note.
This is the
Second
third
side note.
On a
Third
side
side.
note, I believe that people who rape, even if they rape males or they rape females, they really need to be given a tough time inside the slammer. Like, really, I cannot describe what's in my mind because my mind might be twisted.
Hold that thought. Hold that
Okay,
thought.
but-
And listen to this.
Okay.
Because this person who's been subjected to gender-based violence is a person who, in all sense of the word, is of the fairer sex. Doesn't matter if she's a taekwondo or a black belt, but is a member of the fairer sex. It is something that would have been expected in the wider context. Now, if this person instead was a man, a head of the family, one who is actually heading a parliamentary portfolio committee, one who is actually stereotypical black man in movies like Terry.
Okay.
You remember the guy who actually said he's part of the Me Too movement?
Yeah.
in
Terry
front of-
Crews. Terry Crews.
Like Terry.
Yeah.
If that is the person,
Okay.
the outpouring of emotion is more. But in reality, we fail to actually understand, to actually come to grips, to grasps with the act that was done to a macho man of his muscles. How could he have
He's
been
taken
raped?
advantage of.
Moreover, had that person been of the fairer sex, if a female actually rapes, there's no other word for it,
Yeah.
rapes
Rape is
a
rape.
12-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 14-year-old, most men, in fact, their virginity were taken away by older women, pedophiles who
Yeah.
took their virginity. But to make it normal, to normalize it, what that man then thinks is, no, this was a rite of passage. I should actually enjoy it. I have been made a man,
Yeah.
by this older woman.
But
But
that's
all
not
these
the way.
women are old pedophiles. you count the number of men who lost their virginity.
Let's just
to
tell our stats man Tau.
Could you actually
Check how
look
many
it up?
pedophiles?
How many,
Pedophiles
on a
are
general
recorded.
consensus, how many pedophiles are recorded as women?
Women are according compared to male.
What are male pedophiles?
Yeah.
And before I give you the information, I also wanted to add on to that there's a general stereotype when it comes to gender-based violence, because it's always assumed that it's the woman who's a victim, and it's never the man. But on a realism, like Tafi was saying, that there are so many instances where boys, not even men, but boys, are being abused in the domestic households,
Yes.
in the settings, but
Yes.
because they are boys,
They're supposed to take it up as a rite of passage.
and when we say girls, it's very
It's
dramatic
dirty.
and
It's
dirty and
bad.
very violent. But
If a 14-year-old girl is raped by a 19-year-old boy, 20-year-old man,
Yes.
22-year-old man, but when a 25-year-old woman, a 32-year-old woman rapes a
12-year-old
15-year-old boy, she was making a man.
So basically, what we're saying
Stereotyping.
is that,
And even if he
very
reports
bad.
it, to
even
whoever he reports it, they'll say, so you're now a man. So you're now a man.
so that's very bad
So
stereotyping.
basically, the way we think as a society needs to be rewired. That sexual abuse is sexual abuse. It does not-
Gender-based violence is coined. You see, this is why I like people who are into constitutionalism. When they put it, they don't say female violence against female or female-based violence or something like that.
It's gender-based.
They call it gender-based violence because it covers. Now, the problem is society understands GBV to mean violence against women,
Exactly.
against girls.
Yeah. So
We forget that the boy child,
Yeah.
we forget that the man in his own matrimonial house, we forget that the man who is walking around, only when we hear that there are people who are raping men in Mutorashanga, in Lupane, do we understand that women can also be raping? But this is an across the board phenomenon.
So basically speaking, coining violence, abuse against a boy or a girl, or violence and abuse, coining it gender-based is the start of our problems.
No. Calling anything gender and then
Is a
simply
problem.
assuming that because we are saying gender,
We're talking about the
male
females,
is the stronger sex, and therefore the female is the one that we are describing as being having violence. It's a societal norm. It's a stereotype. Because if you really think about it, if you were to look at it, you will find that the number of women who are raped at a young age as compared to the number of males who are raped at a young age.
Way younger age.
Women will be less because it is wrong. It is society has made it wrong.
And they will punish you for doing
and you
that.
are punished for doing it. But males, you are seen as someone who has given a male a rite of passage. You've given a male a way forward. You've made
Generally
a young
accepted.
boy a man. It's generally society
You are lucky to have
accepted.
accepted. To have been
Look at you,
involved in
12-year-old. You got a 32-year-old woman. She did that for you.
Wow,
you are so
it's a wow.
lucky.
Actually, the people are.
But then you know the
Before you even say it,
Yeah.
look at even the French president, Macron. Look at his wife.
there's no
And
problem
you had-
there. Yeah, there's no problem there. No
But-
one is talking about it. Yeah.
But do you know when this relationship started?
It's cool.
Now, how old was Macron? You see?
Not
So
Macron.
not only is it okay then as they are now,
Yeah.
but it was okay even before.
Yeah.
So it's okay for a man to be raped by a woman. It's not okay for a woman to be raped. It's not okay for kids to be raped, period.
At any point.
This is
Yes,
the issue.
yes,
The issue is gender-based violence.
Give
us stats, Tao.
And according
Give us the
to
stats, Tao.
ResearchGateNet it's a publication that they did. It actually says that women commit sexual offenses, but the proportion of sexual offenders who are female is subject to debates. Based on 17 samples from 12 countries, current meta-analysis found that a small proportion of sexual offenses reported to police committed by females. Fixed effect of meta-analysis over average, which is 2.2%. In contrast, victimization surveys indicated prevalence rates of female sexual offenders were 6 times higher than official data.
See? Can you see that?
Sexual offenders are more common among juvenile offenders than adult offenders, like that. What you're saying.
Because it's acceptable, for a woman to rape a guy.
Not only that,
a boy.
it's also acceptable for a woman, a teenage girl who's coming into a prime, a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old girl to rape a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old. For a same-aged boy, at 19-year-old, to rape a 12-year-old, not only would they call it statutory rape, they will say because he's above 18-year-old, he is actually raping. He's actually raping a minor. This doesn't happen for boys. Why is the boy child not getting the same protection?
I believe it's because of our society.
So that's what I'm saying. Society is accepting the wrong thing.
The way you're a man.
You have become a man because you've been raped.
So for a man, it's more of conquests, how much you've conquered. So if you're a 12-year-old boy and you're being raped,
abused.
Let's coin the
correct
terms.
term.
Abused.
Yes, it's the correct term. You have been abused and raped
sexually.
It's gender-based violence that's happening to you.
You're being raped by an 18-year-old girl.
Even a 16-year-old.
Our society does not take it as you being. It is you conquering an 18-year-old woman at the age.
You are the one who's had. It's the society.
But then at the end of the day, what I want to say is I would want to point out that there are a lot of mental issues this boy is going to grow up with.
This is where the problem is. So what happens is the unresolved feelings and unknown feelings,
they are going to be carried on into
adulthood.
And
so now the way he treats, you will find, if this person who's been raped, if they then deal with younger, they will not deal with younger people who are, when they are 19 and these people are 18. They will also deal with people who are also 12.
Yeah.
And then he gets caught and he says, what do they say? Men are trash. Right? Now, also consider this. A huge amount of the young generations who are in the 20s, who are in their late teens, right now, because of the Ben 10 phenomena, have been exposed to older ladies. If you superimpose the same demographic on 29s, 30s, 28s, 26-year-olds, you'll find that a significant amount of them have got girlfriends who are older than them.
Yeah, they do.
Why? This is normal for them. It is what was projected. For sexual relations, the woman has to be older than you. Because he was raped when he was
young.
8 years old, when he was 10 years old.
It has become a pattern. It has become a psychological cycle that for him, the experience of any sexual encounter has to be with someone who's more mature, who's older, because that's what he knows. That's how he got into that.
And you see, the biggest upset out of all this is that this same boy is going to get into a marriage with a younger girl. Why? Because society dictates that you're not supposed to be married
to an older
woman. But he enjoys the older woman.
Why does he enjoy the older woman?
Does he really enjoy the older woman, or he something
forced.
He was forced into feeling that an older woman is experienced will treat me well. But then society tells you that no, you're supposed to marry a younger woman. He's going to marry a younger woman, but he's not going to treat the woman and the mother of his children well.
Yes.
Because he's out pursuing an older
Exactly.
woman.
It's a mother syndrome dependency. He's got an older woman dependency.
Mentality.
So
Exactly. So now what happens?
the way he will approach a relationship is because
As long as
he's
she's younger than
experienced-
me, she's not good for me.
exactly. She's lacking
So now what
somehow.
happens?
But
So
then-
now can you see where the problem is now?
And yet don't even take away anything from the wife. The wife is doing everything and anything.
She is not the problem.
She's not the problem.
The problem is not even, if you actually look at it, the problem is not even the woman who raped her. It was wrong. But the problem is society who condoned it.
Yeah.
Society said this is acceptable.
Yeah.
So now this boy, before he could even produce for him to have an orgasm,
Yeah.
before he could
He was
even
put
produce,
into a
he was put in a
situation.
situation where he actually did produce but had no feeling of what he was
Didn't
doing.
even understand what's going on.
Right.
So for him now, it's the older woman that can make me feel that way because he's looking for that 12-year-old
Experience.
boy experience. But then that experience is not the experience that you're
It's
supposed
not the
to
right
be.
experience. It's wrong. Totally.
It's actually a trauma. So he's in his adult life, he's projecting a post-traumatic
experience.
experience. He's not living his life.
Yeah.
The way he's living, he's projecting a post-traumatic
Traumatic
experience.
experience.
So he will get, you give him a virgin, he will not come.
You suffer.
And
You
and
suffer.
and
You
uh,
suffer.
and, uh,
He
and,
might
uh,
not even be able to de-virginize
And you
her,
know,
but he needs
I
an
believe-
older woman
I believe, you know what?
who tells him, you are my little boy.
I'm not
You are very good.
I'm not a sex expert, but I believe these are the type of relationships after marriage that you hear from these platforms. You know that
A lot of-
I have sex with my wife and she complains about pains, but you got a virgin, and she has pains because this is her first time. This is her first period. You know, it's not just going to be like the first time you're just going to whack a virgin and everything's going to be all good and crispy. She's going to take time to even feel some certain sexual
Problem is
positions, right?
society allowed him to have been experimented on by an older, let's not keep saying an older girl because she was 16 or 17.
No, the woman.
It was a woman.
It was a woman,
It was
yeah.
a pedophile who was taking advantage of this young boy at 8 years old, at 14 years old, at 12 years old.
Okay, so
This is where the problem is.
Yeah.
Now, this is what we are saying. This is gender-based violence. Now, gender-based violence, if the truth were to be told, is more prevalent to boys than it is to girls.
can I give you some stats on that?
Give us some stats.
Statman Tau.
Yeah,
Statman Tau.
according to
On a side
to-
note,
on a
Tau
side note.
graduated from being Tau Dollar to Statman Tau.
Yeah, this thing always changes
do I
every
graduate?
time. Anyway,
You need to prove yourself.
anyway,
son.
the current okay, we according to this research I was explaining to you earlier, we found that males were much more likely to self-report being victimized by female sex offenders compared with females. Do you know what the percentage is?
Yes, please.
It's 40% versus 4%.
See?
So which means 40% of the women will definitely report that they were violated. And guess what, guys? Boys, 4% of the
It's
boys.
because society has made it okay for a woman, if violated, if treated in a very bad way by a male, report that shit, right? But
Can you imagine how this makes you feel listening to us and you have a 7-year-old, 10-year-old boy?
it's really,
It's scary.
It really makes
Because,
you evaluate.
because you know what the problem is? What the problem is? It's stereotypical, but it's very, very correct.
it's there.
Your son, the person who are going to de-virginize your son is one, you as the mother. We are talking to women. I'm talking to women here.
Yeah.
You as the mother, your son is going to be de-virginized by one, your sisters, your cousin sisters, your friends,
Yeah.
your friends' children, who are girls and older,
Older
than
than her, yeah.
this circle is the one that's going to take your boy's virginity.
Because they are so close to them, and you do not even detect it happening.
There's no suspicion.
No suspicion. You know,
At
even
all.
even
One
if-
of
even if-
the daughter of your friend is the one who's always been babysitting him. So there's no way you can even think of it in
Babysitters.
Yeah.
those terms.
Babysitters
But then
issues.
that's when we go back to society, because you know it's
Okay
Even-
for a woman to do aggression, sexual aggression towards a male, younger one, then it is okay for a male to do. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that there is a definite gap, there's a definite problem where we are allowing boys, especially boys, it happens always at a younger age. When men become older, that's less prevalent. But the
Because you
thing
can
is,
easily say no.
the thing is, Taffy, it's happening at a younger age. We need to catch our boys and really find out what's happening with our young boys. It's never about the older men. It's not about the teenagers. It's not about the teenagers, but it's always about the younger guys. Let's really get in touch with our young boys and find out what's happening.
I believe that the point that Tao is talking about now, it comes back to, you know, there is never going to be a guidebook for parenthood, but you being the person that you are, you know, being
Parenthood 101.
yeah, being the person that you are, you know, being a father, you know, your children's first love, your daughter, you are your daughter's first love as a father. She loves you more than any man in this world. She's going to get that Mr. Right, whatever, is going to swoop, have the feet and blah blah blah. But you are the first love, right?
On a side note, Munya just got a new baby girl.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. The way you put
Side
it,
note king.
yeah. Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Side Note King.
Now you made me lose my points. You know?
No, you are right.
Yeah.
The first love is you
The
as
daddy.
the father, you as the mother. How do you then protect your child from the vouchers out there? Because
Exactly,
that woman, you see, when your little boy was a littler boy, when he was in your arms and you were changing his nappies,
Yeah.
this woman, she's your friend.
Okay.
She's gone through with you thick and thin. What she's doing with you as the mother of the son, she's been seeing him grow up. And when she sees that he is, as much as she always pontificates that men are trash, when she sees that he is 10, he's 11, he's 12, she thinks he's so innocent. Before he starts breaking hearts, I need to take him.
Yeah.
She will show him parts of the body that a boy at his age
It's confused
is
about.
confused about.
But is really, what's the word?
And then she'll do things to him that you, the mother of the boy, would kill this woman. But the truth is, your son will never come to you and tell you. He will go and report it to other guys or say it after a couple of years or at that time to some other guys. But what they say, this is the society that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What they
What
would
they
then
say
say
now.
is, did you hit that? So you're telling me, you young man, you hit that?
You should go back and hit
very,
that.
very hot lady there?
We are proud.
You should go back and hit that.
Young man, we used to
But
think you should be playing
this-
with
this-
toys down there.
this was
You
this-
should play with us. You are now a big man.
Taffy, this was the point that I wanted to portray, that you know
Psychological
what,
trauma.
as much as we are parents are not God. They are not going to get 100% of everything correct.
Yeah, true.
They are not going to, tell their children that ABCDs of life and everything. There's no guidebook to life. There's no guidebook to parenthood.
There's
But
never.
if parents can, and I hope it's something that I can do in this journey that I've started as a parent.
Yes, a baby daddy.
No, I'm not a baby daddy. I'm a parent.
As a parent.
As a parent, But
Yeah.
if you give your child that, she knows or he knows that this is my father, right? My father cannot teach me what my mother can teach me. But when my father speaks about something, it's worth listening to. And then she couples that, or he couples that with what the mom tells him or her, They get a full calabash of ideas, and they can use that in life. But I would really want that parents not to be stiff organs of society, but to be not leaders, but guidance counselor. The first guidance counselor of your child's life is supposed to be you.
Exactly. You're supposed to
You're
play
supposed to be the one.
an active role
Yeah.
in making sure that whatever your children are going to face, you have equipped them with the necessary information that they can face whatever challenge comes their way. Because the problem, Munya, I'll tell you, is that there has been a taboo of parents, not all across the world, of parents not being really able to talk about sexual issues with their children. But we have come to an age where now we have
demystify that item.
pedophiles. We have now relations. We no longer live as close as we used to be in the past. Like, we have people visiting each other. We have people living across the world. Like maybe your aunt is in another country. You
But
can't really confide in that.
At the end of the day, God willing, I wouldn't want this for me alone. I would want this for every parent under the sun, to have a relation with your child as a father, as
Not
a
a
mother.
friend, but
Not
as
a friend,
parent.
but your child is so open to you to tell that, what, Dad, I have this.
You see, now you're coming back. I remember I talked about this when we talked about what
The
we were
joys
watching.
of fatherhood.
No, what we are watching. I told you that I watch Family Guy with my kids.
No, but I can never watch Family Guy with my.
That is the issue. The thing is, a lot of the things that are in Family Guy are so over 18 based, and some of them violence, some of them maturity, some of them sexual. Right. Listen. The point is, the sexual part, the very simple part, I am now in a position to talk to them, to my daughter, to my son about.
Okay.
That has opened a channel where my son even comes to me and says, Daddy, this is happening to me. Daddy, this is happening to me. Right?
Okay.
For my daughter, because some of these things happened later, however, she is now open even to talk about these things with her mother.
Fine.
Now, or even with me. So what we are saying is, the way you open channels with these people, they are not your everyday pushing the wire car in the road.
But on a side note, when it comes to Family Guy, I have to disagree with you.
I'm not. We are not having an argument about this.
We're not having an argument with you. But if it was me, I wouldn't watch Family Guy. I would watch Modern Family. With the dry dead jokes that you say, dry dead jokes, but I would prefer Modern Family to Family Guy. That's me. Carry on.
See, so what has happened now is, apart from society trivializing the gender-based violence that happens to boys, society has rightly put the gender-based violence that happens to girls and to women. Right? Now, this gender-based violence that we are talking about, women are now at the forefront.
Okay.
So now we have a two-pronged issue. We've got women who are being violated as girls.
All right.
We've got women who are being violated as women, young or old. And then, unfortunately, we also have women who are violating, and no one is taking cognizance or taking note of the fact that these women are pedophiles. These women are violating. And then we get men who are circumspect, who are not supposed to be in society, but they've been bred and born due to the violence that has come out from these pedophile women. But we are not talking about it.
It's not actually, it's an issue that's not never
This
been
is
talked
the discussion
about.
that we need to have now.
It's been so vague and so silent. So many circles don't want to get into that conversation.
But we
Why?
should get into this conversation.
Because they will validate a man's sexual experience as a conquest, but they now
that's societal.
disregard. Yeah, like let me get to
This
my
is what
point.
I've always been saying. Society is the problem.
Let me get to my point. But they'll disregard that has got emotional trauma.
Yes.
Like your deep psychological trauma, like boys
Scars
who've been
that
abused.
are similar to the ones of war, where this person, whenever they think about sex, whenever they think about intimacy, whenever they think about being close to a female, some of them have completely changed their gender preference because of the violence that was unleashed upon them as they were grown up. They are no longer feel attracted to the fairer sex as attractive as it is.
And
They
then-
now believe
yeah.
that they should be attracted to the...
And then you have this issue now
See.
that you see someone cannot be faithful in the household. It's not because they cannot be faithful, but it's because their upbringing, what they faced. You know, it's psychological to them that you know what, I married you as a younger wife because society says I have to have a younger wife. Oh,
But
society,
I
I
really-
really need someone who's 10, 15.
who can dominate me like I was when I was 8 years old.
But
That's a sexual trauma that you just have the other
it's
day.
really traumatizing, and it does not have anything to do with love.
Yeah, so
So
I'm-
it
I'm
needs to
picking up-
be nipped in the bud.
Yeah, I'm picking up on a general trend, like I said before, like the issue with men, male gender violence is mostly at a younger age. Like you get guys who most of the abuse by women on guys is at a younger age, but they are instances where we are finding out that even now we are having not even sexual, there actually is physical abuse of some men in households.
This is what happens.
In some households, that there are men who are actually being physically munya, not only sexually but being physically abused by their wives
Yes.
in the houses, in
Yes.
the households. That there are women who are beating up men
But they
for
cannot.
various
But they
reasons.
cannot say anything about it because
Because they
if
are
you
men.
speak about it, that
You're
you are
weak.
being beaten by your
You're being beaten by your wife?
You're weak.
You're weak man. You're a
You're
weakling.
weak,
You
yeah.
deserve to be beaten up. See,
then-
see
yeah.
what society says to
Yeah.
you?
It's difficult because at the end of the day, most probably you are being beaten by your wife. Okay, fine.
Not because you're weak,
no,
but because
but-
you're principled.
Yeah, and-
you were taught up
and you
never
were
to
taught-
raise
you were
a
never-
woman, a hand to a woman.
Never. But then you are
You are
with
being-
a woman.
you
You are with a
whipped
woman
up.
now who was taught the different that if anyone tries anything funny to you, beat their
them.
ass.
So
Beat the
when
hell out
you
of
work
them.
when you're at work and your boss tells you to stay 2 hours later, you get home late, and she says, I told you here we start eating at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, and you are not here. You think I'm working here just for you. You think I'm here. And then you get
Yeah.
beat up.
You get beat up.
Because if we are to go back to Zimbabwe, you know, the emphasis has been on the girl child more than on the boy child. But the boy child has been suffering more.
A lot.
Because if besides violence, some of the chores that the boy child has been told to do in a young age, where he's not developed physically to even do those things, is too much, you know. But then it's an issue of society saying that you're a man. This is how you become a man.
A man is never a victim.
Why are you whining about these things? You're a man.
A man is never a victim.
A man is never a victim.
A man has to step up and become the
Put
man.
some more oomph into it. And you're telling this to a 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy. He's just growing up, you know.
He's confused.
He's still
He
figuring
doesn't know
out
what
himself.
life's about, and it brings a lot of issues.
So now
growing
the
up.
same boy is a 9-10-year-old victim of societal pressures like that. When 23-year-old temporary teacher comes and she says, you know what, let me teach you this, this. She opens up her vagina, she tells him, do this and that, you know. It's going to mess him up for the rest of his life.
And then, unfortunately for the same guy, what's going to happen is once he's married, right, the younger, he's actually going to resent older women. He because of this teacher was a temporary.
Yeah.
This teacher, he resents his mother, he resents his older sister, he resents his older relatives who are female.
Yeah. So
Right.
he does
He
not
then
have-
goes and gets married to a younger woman.
Yeah.
Right.
To show dominance.
Right. And then this younger woman, when he's out drinking or he's out even marking books at class,
Yeah.
he's just marking his books.
He's a teacher as well, yeah.
Now he wants to go back home. He gets home. Why are you late? You finished school at 3 o'clock. You're coming here at 8 o'clock. I was marking books. This is what I don't like. You are trying to... And he gets bitter.
Yeah.
He gets bitter, but he was taught never to.
To raise
This is why he never did anything to
or
that.
it might be the reverse. That now he's seeing the trauma coming back again. Is like,
Then he beats her up so
the
hard.
things that I was working so hard to run away
Against.
from.
And he beats her up. You see? So now, what then comes out from this feminist movement? Men are trash. But the thing is, we are addressing the symptoms.
Yeah.
We are not addressing the cause.
root cause.
At the end of the day, as long as feminists say men are trash, it's actually females who have caused
The
this.
man to be trash.
It's actually men are not actually trash.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But
basically
what-
what is needed is let's look at the root cause for this person to be acting in this certain
Tugu
way.
even says it. Understand the cause of this headache.
Yeah.
Don't address
Don't
the
address
symptom.
the symptom
Yeah.
of the headache.
Why?
You just come and you say you have a headache, and then you just want. Don't address the symptom. The symptom
Yeah.
is the GBV, and women are at the brunt of all this GB. We will never run away from this.
Yeah.
Women are the ones who are suffering from GBV. A lot of them are being maimed. A lot of them are being hit in
Even
houses,
killed.
and they're staying there.
Even
a lot
killed.
of them are being killed. Lots are disappearing.
Yeah, so-
if
so-
you look
so
at
it
South
means-
Africa,
yeah.
lots of them disappear,
So it
not
needs
to be found
So it
ever
needs
again.
to be seen that why are men so
Angry
so-
at women.
to reach to such a point that they do
You need to
this?
have these discussions. This discussion, we are not saying it's 100% of it, but this
but
type of
it could
discussion
help.
could actually be a 10%, 20%. Now, if this only 10%, or even if it's 2%,
It opens up
what
a
it
lot
does it
of
is
options.
it will save in 10 years time. It will save, instead of there having been 50 women abducted, though they might actually be 48.
True, Chuck.
So we've saved 2. These discussions are what get us to solutions.
Exactly.
Because as long as we don't face the elephant in the room,
And we
that's
keep on
the
name
pedophile.
shaming, yeah.
The pedophile in African society, the pedophile is
World
the woman.
society. Not even
In
African
world
alone.
society, I don't know in Europe, I don't know in America.
It's the same
but
thing.
in African society, for you to be a man, most men were de-virginized by their relatives, who are either their mother's sister, their mother's
Cousins.
cousins. their mother's
Basically,
friend,
the people
the
close to the
children
mother,
to
yeah.
the mother's friend, the women around this man, and now he hates women.
Because
But
he didn't
for him now,
understand
he
what
doesn't-
was happening.
Yeah.
He
And
doesn't know
was
why he hates
confused.
women.
He doesn't walk around even saying he hates women, but he hates traits that he's going to just act out. And the
Because he was
acting-
dominated.
Yeah.
He was dominated.
and
on.
he once won over the person who dominated him. But the way he does that one over the person that dominated him now is affecting another daughter of someone.
We need
Yeah?
even the clan. If you're listening to this, do your own survey. Just check out on your close circle. The people that you know will answer you real answers.
Yeah.
Ask them who their first was. Don't tell them, no, don't
Yeah,
tell me
it's
when you
about
were
the person,
17, when you're 18, when you're 25, when you're whatever. Ask them the real person, the first person who actually had sex with you.
You'll be shocked.
You'll be
man.
shocked. You'll be
shocked,
surprised.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that we need to demystify. We need to really talk about these issues because for a very long time, people have been giving a blind eye to that. Have been giving a deaf ear to these issues when it comes to the boy child.
Yeah.
It has been very very wrong. I think, Tafi, like you said, we need to address this as urgently as we can, and as parents, we need to really get to understand what our boy
Keep your
child
eyes
is going
out.
is
Keep your
going
eyes
through,
out. Keep
because
your eyes out.
he may not be comfortable to talk to you, but
But
just
you can see the
But
advances.
but then
You
see
also,
who
comes to your
but then
house.
also as a parent you might not see it, but if you build a platform that your child
can
Can.
open.
open to you, that they can tell you anything,
Yes.
and everything.
This comes to the reprimanding. When you reprimand your son, when you reprimand your daughter, don't make them understand that you are the enemy hitting up on them, or you are the enemy clapping on them, or you are shouting on them.
No.
Even if you raise your voice, make them understand. My kids will come back to me after I have reprimanded and say, Didi, I'm sorry. I forgot what you told me to do, and you are angry at me. That is what you need to do. Because if in your anger, they are able to approach you, in their times of trouble,
They can also
they will
approach
come
you.
and tell you, Daddy, this is what happened to me. I'm not happy with it. What are you going to do about it? Is it okay? Please tell me, give me strength.
Yeah.
Tell me what is happening.
So as much as anything can happen to your children, you're supposed to be a sensei. The one
Not
that
a friend.
Not a friend, but a sensei. I have learned what you have taught me, but I don't understand this. Something is happening in my life, but what does it mean? And you explain to them and you guide them through life. Because gender-based violence is not only to females, but it's to males as well. And this is the reason, some of the gender-based violence that happens is the reason why females are treated poorly. Taudola opening a can of
Some
Refreshment.
refreshing cold beverages. Taudola, can you sign us out, please?
Yeah, and I just want to say that it's very important that we look at how we have been dealing with these issues of male-based violence. We need to be in touch with our children, our men, even men, be open enough to come out in the open. We know it has a lot of pride,
But you are 21st century
Guy,
parent now.
you need
Even
to
if you're
do-
not a parent, you're an uncle. You're
need
supposed
to
to
do-
be that uncle who shares this with the kids.
We need to deal with these issues.
Yeah.
Men, if you are being abused, there's no shame in that. We understand not everyone is the same, but we need to come out and speak about these things. Munya,
Yeah.
let's be open.
Let's be
Guys,
open.
let's encourage our kids to be open to us. Let's talk about these things and keep an eye. Just watch how your
It's a
kids are
new
behaving.
day.
Yeah, it's a new day. Yeah.
Let's be aware.
Our parents should be our parents.
And let's
not our
avoid
enemies.
Let's strictly avoid stereotyping, because stereotyping has killed a lot of things in our society. Let's be just open to anything and be appreciative of what's happening around us.
Like we say, keep the discussion going. This is even in your families.
Yeah.
Talk.
Let's keep it going.
Talk.
Get to understand each other. So, you know where to catch us: Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. We have a
SoundCloud.
We have a page now, Maungera Clan. Just follow that page. We're going to be giving you snippets of every episode. And if any episode catches you, you can just go to our YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Public Radio, or Google Podcast, and you can just listen to the full version of it, and you can be part of the discussion. We are for the community because we came from the community. So, gentlemen,
We out.
Taurai Dollar signing out.
but Statman Tower and Tappy Sense, let's keep the conversation going.
Emma Ongera Production.